Hi there, this is Jared Hamilton with the Hamilton Group at Cherry Creek Mortgage. Welcome to another edition of Java with Jared. I've got my 20-ounce coffee here. Hope you guys are doing great, recovering from the snow that we received. Just wanted to send you this week's update, let you know what's going on with interest rates. And I've attached a real valuable piece of information that I think that you can use with your clients. This week's edition is going to be a little bit longer than normal because I do want to explain some of these charts. But I will dive right into what's going on with interest rates. Now, interest rates finished the week down slightly from where they were last week. Last week we saw interest rates go up, but this week it recovered slightly. The big news was on Monday, it was announced that Greece did receive their €130 bailout package, but which would have normally been bad for interest rates because interest rates are super low based upon what's been going on across the pond over in Europe. But most economists believe that this €130 package is really not going to be enough to get Greece out of the problems. It's like putting a Band-Aid on a jugular wound. So while it was good that at least they received something, it wasn't really perceived as something that's really going to be helping their economy, and Europe is still going to be facing some major issues. So on the economic front, earlier in the week we saw that existing home sales were up slightly, but lower than really expected. Jobless claims were pretty much flat. Consumer sentiment came out today, and that was actually higher than expected, and actually the highest level that we've seen since February 2011. So what is good for the economy, and a good consumer sentiment is good for the economy, is typically bad for interest rates. But again, with what's going on with Europe, it's not really causing interest rates to get any worse. New home sales also came in a little bit lower than expected. Last month they were at 324,000. This month they came in at 321,000, but inventories were low. Now next week we're going to see a lot of economic data with GDP, durable goods, also Chicago's Purchasing Manager Index, and the Personal Consumption Expenditures, PCE. Those are all coming out next week, and that's a lot of economic data, so we'll let you know what happened with that. So this week, as a marketing tip, what I am including is some information that you can use with your clients to explain the difference in the price of the home versus cost. Now, most consumers really focus on the price of the home, which is perfectly natural. What they fail to really realize is the overall cost of home ownership, and with interest rates as low as they are, the overall cost of home ownership is actually fabulous. So what I did is I included this interest rate graph, and this is just a 30-year interest rate graph here, so you can see it. So you can see that interest rates are really low here compared to where they have been. And that impacts the overall cost of home ownership positively, extremely significantly. Let's say if we look at a $250,000 home, $250,000 mortgage that is, and interest rate back in 2004, interest rates were around 6.25%. Today, that same $250,000 mortgage with interest rates in the low fours, I'm using 4.5% even though they're a little bit lower, will save the consumer almost about, let's see, going backwards here, $280 per month. Expressed, that actually saves them over $100,000 over a period of 30 years. That is significant. That cost of ownership has gone down because interest rate low by over $100,000. There's also some other charts that also express things differently, like you could buy, basically you can get a $300,000 mortgage because interest rates are in the low fours versus a $250,000 mortgage when interest rates are around 6.25% for the exact same monthly payment. So they can buy $50,000 more in house or more in loan. Now the other chart, the last chart that's on here that I've included is talking about the Fed funds rate. Now, because you might have heard that the Federal Reserve has said that they're going to keep interest rates low for till 2014. So your clients might be thinking, well, interest rates are going to continue to be low for quite some time. While that's true, what they're controlling, though, is the Fed funds and the discount rate. That is not what the consumer pays in terms of mortgage rates. And this graph will show that even with the Fed funds and discount rate, and that's what banks are borrowing from the Federal Reserve for overnight funds or from one another to meet their Federal Reserve requirements. So it's overnight money. It's very, very, very short term. But what this graph shows is that even with the Fed funds rate being extremely low, and the Fed funds rate is this bar right here, we have seen mortgage rates, which is going to be up here, whoop, going backwards, we have seen mortgage rates even around the 6% level over here, and also in the high fives. So just because the Federal Reserve said they're going to keep the Fed funds and discount rate low does not mean that interest rates are going to be low. So what you need to explain to your consumers is that what we know is if we buy today, you are going to be paying historically low interest rates. If you wait, rates could go up, and that same house, even if it goes down in price a little bit, is going to cost you a lot more money over the long term of the loan. So hopefully this information will be helpful. Hope you enjoyed this edition of Java with Jared. You know, if you could give me some feedback, let me know if you like this stuff and if this is helpful. Hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. If there's anything that we can do, please feel free to give us a call. We'd be happy to help. And again, hope you have a very wonderful weekend and hope your next week is profitable. Thanks a lot for tuning in to Java with Jared, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.